All right, guys, welcome to Monday Team Call. This is the last team call. So we have everybody's team on here. We have Allie's team, we have Lindsay's team, we have all the underlining teams. It's gonna be an amazing call. Today is something I'm super passionate about. I'm Lauren Keller, by the way. And so I am Lindsay's coach, and Allie is my grandma coach, and I have been coaching for 5.5 years. I love how Kat is shaking her head to remind me that, yes, this is correct. This is why we do things as a team. And I originally started coaching because I just wanted to lose my mama weight. Back then, I had a 3- and 5-year-old, and it turned into such an incredible journey. It changed my life in the short period of time that I was like, I really want to take coaching to the next level and see what happens. And 5.5 years later, I had another baby, and I have another baby on the way. So I'm not saying coaching creates babies, but for me, one thing led to another, and just such a big journey, but I won't go into that. Today, we're going to talk about time management and power pockets, something that completely changed my life and my business about 2.5, 3 years ago when it got super crazy. We were at the beginning of COVID. We had just demoed our main level of our house. So we had no kitchen, no living room, no dining room. I was homeschooling the kids. I was early pregnant with my now 20-month-old and super sick. And so life was not fantastic. It was fantastic, but it wasn't fantastic. Oh, and working full-time as a shift working nurse, and same with my husband. So it was like a cluster bleep of crazy, and I really didn't have time to do the fluff anymore. I really had to see what I was not doing right, or as well as I could, and take out the crap and really just narrow focus into what mattered. So tonight, those are the nuggets. This is what changed my business, and I'm going to share it with you guys. So before we get started, I want you guys to open up the chat bar. I'm going to open up mine too so I can see a few things. If you guys have questions, please type them in the chat bar. Julie is going to be writing them out so that I can answer them at the bottom. I love Q&As. Please don't leave me hanging at the end. So if you have questions, put it in there. Okay. One other thing before we get started, we're going to do a Tony Robbins fist pumping thing. If you guys have been on calls with me before, you know how silly and ridiculous we look. But if you guys have been like me, it's been a crazy day with the kids. The weather here in Ottawa is terrible. I know you guys in the East Coast, it's kind of drizzly. So for 2 seconds, we're going to look like idiots. We are going to fist pump. So if you guys haven't done the Tony Robbins, you close your eyes, you think of something you're grateful for, and you go. All right, so we're going to do that until I tell you to stop. Look at the faces. I don't want to do this. You're going to do it, okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close your eyes and fist pump. Yes, I love this. Okay, I'm calling you out, Tracy. There you go. All right, we're done. Okay, energy shifted. If you guys do this, if you guys had a terrible day and you're sitting down to do invites, do that. Okay, your life is crazy. And if, you know, most of us do a massive power pocket at nighttime, you're tired. Shift your energy, do some crazy things, do a dance, do that, whatever. Okay, chat bar. What are you coaching for? Why are you here on this call and took time out of your life to be on this call tonight? Or listening to the recording, because I know we have busy lives. So why are you coaching? Yes, priming is what it's called, Lindsay. Thank you. Put that in the chat bar. This is all going to make sense in a few minutes. What do you have to lose if you don't go all in and focus on your business? What happens if you do? What do you win? What is going to happen to your life if you do? Who's counting on you if you don't focus? Type it in the chat bar, guys. Don't leave my chat bar hanging. What does your creator, whether that be Mother Nature, Allah, God, whoever that is, what does that person who you believe created you, your mom, your dad, whatever, say about how you're using the beautiful gifts that you have inside of you right now? I love it. I'm coaching for the process of lifting up lives with others and pulling people into the happy. My family's counting on me. Autonomy, freedom. I love that. Keep going, keep blowing that up. So what these things are going to give to you when you answer these questions is it's going to bring you to your priority statement. Everybody starts coaching or changes along the way for different reasons in coaching, and your why is going to change. Those questions, those answers are going to change because you're going to grow as a human. And you might actually have these aha moments where you're like, "Oh, I could probably like actually do this thing." And your mindset might shift as well. And life is going to shift. But these priority statements are going to be the difference between the time that you put into it, the energy that you put into it. If you're doing it to pay off your mortgage, buy your forever home, you're going to do it differently than someone who's paying for their supplements. So really figuring out like where you're at is not only going to help you in your business, it's going to help your coach be able to coach you and help you, and it's going to help you show up. Okay, so here's an example. You want to open a restaurant, you have the best donut recipe ever. Like people tell you, I've been craving donuts, I'm pregnant. So people tell you all the time, you have like the best donuts ever. And you're like, I should just start a restaurant. And you're like, no, but like Ottawa Crew, Susie Q Donuts exist. And like, there's Mavericks and like all the other favorite donut places. And you're like, they already do it. Like what? I don't need to do it. But your donut could change someone's life. Like your donut could bring joy to a lot of people, but because you don't actually do it, you're not, I know it's a weird example, but you're not serving those people. You're not changing people's lives. Think about your favorite restaurant that you go to, like your go-to place, Pure Kitchen, Lone Star, any of those places, right? What if they didn't exist? It would just take that little bit of joy out, that little like favorite date. But that person, if they didn't take that chance on themselves, that place wouldn't exist right now. Same thing for you in your business. Each of us has something to offer in this world. Each of us has a gift. Each of us has something that, Julie's going to say something, maybe the exact same message that I'm going to say, but Julie is going to speak to a different person than I am, just because of her words and her like how she comes off and stuff. I'm like super crazy, other people are maybe mellow, and that's going to speak to a different person. So just don't second guess yourself in what your value and your worth is because someone else already does it. Okay. So your priority statement, those are the questions that will help you figure out your priority and gain you perspective. So first things first, we're going to talk about time blocking. So I love time blocking. I did it back in the beginning and now I don't really do it full on. I know coaches in here who like swear by it and are like super anal. I'm not going to go into like super duper detail in it. Melanie Mitro has amazing calls breaking it down on YouTube. Be resourceful, guys. This is how like your business is going to thrive, is just be resourceful. Team page, Beachbody page, champions, like everything, all the information's there. YouTube's your best friend. And so Melanie Mitra has these things and she'll break down how to use like your Google calendars, how to break it down. I'm going to give you the gist of it, but watch her YouTubes if you really want to get into the nitty gritty of time blocking. So the first thing that you do is you would take out your calendar. I'm a pen and paper chick. So like literally like take out your calendar and you're going to do first all the things you have to do. So your appointments, your job, your featured humans, like however in depth those major important things are, put them on there. And then if you're really like someone who's super anal and like likes to do things really nice, I mean, like, I don't think that's anal, but color code it. So your very important things would be a different color from the next step, which is the most important thing because your journey is your job, your workout and your personal development. That would be the next thing to schedule on there. And again, different color if you want. And then the next one, which would be updating your stories and your posts, which are the things which are like, tell people your business is open. If you don't have that out there, you're making your job so much harder for yourself. But again, that's still the fluff. Like it's important and it has to happen, but that's not what's going to ultimately move your business forward. And I'm going to break that down in a second. So hear me out before you read into that. So those are the three things that you really need to have on your schedule, on your calendar. And then in that time, you'll then see where your pockets are. You'll see, okay, I have a really good gap of time here. The baby naps here. Yes, I need to do the toilet cleaning, but I also have this much time too. So it'll help you find the gaps. So that's why I really stress before you figure out your power pockets and trying to want to figure it out, figure out your time blocking first. So you find the gaps, those are your pockets. In those pockets, you do the 4 things that are going to move your business forward: invite, follow up, connect, and add. Those are the things that are like, should be non-negotiable in your business. If you do those things, your business will continue. And so what I learned is I was doing a lot of fluff. I was doing a lot of I'll go into it in a second, but like recording who I was talking to. So I was doing all the things, but I wasn't actually putting it down. So it made my job so much harder. And I wasn't focusing in. So the people that if you listen to any of the top leader calls, what they all say is like, I do the business activity tracker, but I 10x invites and follow-ups. So if you can focus on those things, and that's what moved my business forward. That's what launched me in the worst time craziness of my life, not feeling well, all the things. We went from diamond, well, Ryan went from my husband's account, went from emerald to diamond to ruby to 1 star. And I went from, this was all in like a 6 months period, if not less. And I went from diamond to 1 star, all in that crazy time. So again, excuses are excuses, but this is going to change your life if you actually do it. So on Sunday, something that you could really do also is figure out what's going on in your business, what's going on in your life, and really map it out. Some people are super well scheduled and know their life that far in advance. I'm slightly on the fly, and they do it a month in advance. I do suggest you doing that with some of the Beachbody stuff, like some of your business stuff, so you know when you can, like, so you know what to talk about when, more than a week in advance. So, you know, when is your sneak peek? When are you doing your challenge groups? When are you starting the next program? Like, what are you doing for that too? When are you doing when is the mentorship happening? Like, all those things should be in there. So, you know, okay, now I'm getting cold. Now I got to put this on. I'm getting shivery with my Energize kicking in. Okay. So on Sundays, schedule those things out. That's for normal people. For shift working nurses, because I know we have nurses on here, if you're working 2 days, 2 nights, 5 off, do it on your last night shift, because then you can kind of prep, because that's kind of your like breathing days. So that's when I would do it if I were you. I'm just trying to see. So also reflect in that time what you did, what did work, what didn't work. So then you can really shift. So, okay, I sent out, 25 invites. This is how I did it. And I had no responses. Okay, maybe something needs to shift. And it could just be a little tweak, right? You could be a little awkward. So send a voice message instead. It could, maybe you were reaching out not from a thank you and it came from maybe a less genuine place. So instead, maybe change it to like a thank you for popping into my stories. I don't know if you saw, like something like that. So just reflect kind of on how things went. And then make the shift. What really did work? Okay, I'm going to 10x that next week because that really worked for my business last week. And then what you really want to accomplish. So I find sometimes, I'm going to give you a tip on this later, but we have all these things we want to accomplish, but we didn't get them done. And then that kind of weighs on us moving forward in the next week. So if there's something you really, really want to accomplish, make sure you put that in your schedule too, so that you can, complete these things and really feel whole versus drained. And then also what's happening in the business. So again, like what's launching, all those things, put that in there, like team calls, so you don't miss them. Set alarms in your phone. If you're like me and you need like 18 of them to remember, do those things to move your business forward. Okay, so I'm going to tell a story. There's a woman and her water heater breaks and she ends up spending 7 hours in her day that she didn't have to get it fixed. If you ask that same woman to train for 7 hours for a marathon, do you think she would find that 7 hours? No. So the point is, figure out your why, your priority statements, and then move forward. So if you had to fix your water heater, of course you're going to fix it. Your house needs to work and blah, 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 blah. But if your priority is not to train for a marathon, you're not going to show up for 7 hours. So really figure out what your priority statement is and then focus. So moving forward, power pockets. Something magical about 8-minute power pockets. I swear by them. This is what my brain created in the craziness of that time. Sorry, is there someone off mute? I was like, is that my baby crying or someone off mute? I think we're okay. No, that's someone. If someone can find them out and mute them. Julie, perfect. My baby has not settled yet, so we're kind of praying. I'm solo tonight that nothing happens. Okay, so 8-minute power pockets. This is why it's magical for me and has been for my team and anybody I've taught this call to, is 5 minutes is not enough. 10 minutes, we can still be squirrels. There's something about the 8 minutes. And now you can double that 8 minutes, that's fine. But setting your timer's key for 8 minutes and doing only the task in those 8 minutes. That means if your girlfriend messages you with her really cute dress or what she's going to wear for Summit, you don't go answer it if you're sending out invites. Because what happens is you then answer the message, you look at it, you talk about how cute it is, and then you go start shopping. And then half an hour later, you haven't sent out any invites and you're tired and you're going to bed and your energy shifted. So really in those 8 minutes, focus. So for me, for example, 8 minutes, I can answer and show love on everybody who's showed up in the hub, my challenge group. And I can literally in 8 minutes show love on all of them instead of popping in 8,000 times a day and checking everybody's posts every single time they log in and taking time away from my family, which is hugely important to me in my priority statement. I'm able to do it in 8 minutes once a day. And the power of this is that people who are then in your challenge groups, for example, for this 8 minute, they then see that you're not a slave to your business. They see that you're showing up there for that time. They know you're checking in every night because that's the time for me that I go in. For you, it could be afternoon. Every single night, they know I'm checking in there and I'm showing love on everybody's posts. And then obviously I check in my message thread when we have launches and stuff like that. But they then feel like they can recreate that same wheel and not be a slave to their business and not, have that thing of like, well, I can't do what you do. It seems like so much, right? They don't have that because they see you being able to do all the things.
Sorry, I think it's
I found
Karen.
her.
Oh, there. Okay, thank you. It wouldn't let me mute her.
I got it. It's all good. Okay, so what that 8 minutes does, like I said, is it stops you from multitasking, which multitasking is beautiful. I'll explain it in a second, but most of us can become such squirrels. It takes us away from the task at hand. And I remember when my kids, when I just had 2 and they went to school, I was like, yes, my business is going to take off. I'm going to have so much time. It's going to be amazing. And I was like, Lindsay, I don't know what's happening. I swear I'm working 5 hours a day, if not more. And my business has not changed at all. And if not, it's gotten worse. And I don't like it because I wasn't having fun anymore. I was literally just felt like I was on my phone doing the thing all the time. This is before all this happened. And she said to me, she's like, you're doing too much. Like, you're doing too much fluff. You're having conversations for like years before, which is fine. But I was literally never inviting. And I would have conversations for like a year because I just didn't feel that push, that 8 minutes of like, okay, I got to invite. And it's I never invite from a place of like, I need this invite. But I just never got to that place of like finding that joy and that gratitude and coming from that place for those people. It was like, it was a job. So some people think all the time is like, okay, well, you're doing the business full time. Like you have so much time. No, like this is almost sometimes when those 8 minute power pockets are even more important because we can come up with so many reasons to not work the business or to do too much and waste the time that we have to be so grateful for with our kids at home, or, we can sit down and watch Virgin River, like whatever that is, the 8 minutes is so important because the multitasking can take away from it. Okay, studies actually do show too, because I did some research, that multitasking also means that you're going to get less done. So I'm not just pulling it out of my ass. Okay, so in that 8 minutes, to remind you, all you're doing is the task at hand and you're setting a timer. So in those 8 minutes until that timer goes off, you're only, for example, inviting. That's it. You're not answering a message that comes in. You're literally you can turn off your notifications if you're that much of a squirrel, but all you're doing is inviting for those 8 minutes, however you're inviting that night. So many calls to watch on inviting, so I'm not going to tell you how I do it. Okay, already said that. Okay. Multitasking is acceptable in my regards if you're doing a mindless task. I swear by doing this, this is the most beautiful thing about, like, you should be doing this. Doing the dishes, folding laundry, driving a car. I mean, unless you're in bad weather, please don't do this in bad weather. Say your Hail Marys instead. But really listen to a podcast, do your PD, watch your team calls that you've missed in that time. This is how you get that PD time in. So today, where did we drive to? The grocery store, because it was raining. And what do you do with 3 kids when you got to keep them quiet and your husband's sleeping on night shifts? You take them to the grocery store, because that's the only money I want to spend is on food. Okay, so we go to the grocery store and I'm like, I haven't done any PD today, and God knows I need it. So I put on Jay Shetty's podcast, and then I had it in the car, and I purposely also do this so the kids can listen. And Jack from the very back seat could barely hear. And he was like, Mom, can you actually turn it up? And I was like, yes, I'm rocking it. My kids are taking it in. So, you know, like, it's good for them too. I mean, unless you're listening to, like, I don't know, murder mysteries or something, but that's not what you do with that time. You grow your mindset. But that is the power too. Like, a lot of us are moms on here. A lot of us are doing this to, like, also help our children. And these are ways that we can actually do it. They see us doing the dishes, but, you know, we're psychologically also inputting that goodness into them too. So that's acceptable for multitasking. Do your PD, catch up on calls, do those things. 1 second. Oh yeah. Okay. So if you're not doing a power pocket, if you're not doing one of those tasks that you really have to do, put your phone away. Like, put your phone away. You're not going to die. No one's going to miss you. Like, you'll be okay. And, like, I always put it to charge, because then I feel like it's doing something important while it's not with me, and that it needs to do that, and that it's ready for when I need it to. So I put it to charge, and I put it in the other room, and it's face down. Again, if you're having anxiety and this is new to you, then just put it face down, because what happens is, again, we're squirrels. We'll see it. We'll think that someone needs us. And if we don't answer it right now, like, our whole business is going to fail, because that's the person who's going to sign up and get us to Success Club this month. No, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. And what happens too is, when you're answering your phone all the time, is you're not giving them the attention that they deserve. And they can feel that. And so can your family. So if you've ever heard your kids, I mean, my kids still say it from time to time. It's like, Mom, you're always on your phone. I'm like, I have a business. But I also tell them, Mommy, today was a little annoying. I was like, Mommy needs 2 minutes. If you can give me 2 minutes, I'm setting a timer. After those 2 minutes, we're going to play Monopoly Go. And so they knew what was happening. And they knew, I even told them the task I was doing. They couldn't do it today. This is how terrible they were, because life is crazy. But if you tell them what you're doing, if you have a power pocket, if they're playing nicely, guys, you're playing nicely. Mommy's going to take 8 minutes to just quickly check in with her messages and her clients, and then she'll be right back. Like, do those things so they don't just think you're on your phone playing a game. Take the games off your phone too, if you have a problem with that. But really having that communication with them too will really help your business as well, and not make them think that you're taking time away from them. Same thing with those focused invites. That focused power pocket is, then you could really actually have a conversation with someone, versus have a conversation and be like, how am I going to end this? Because I need to go make dinner, or I need to take these kids to the store. And then you're kind of like blowing someone off, and they can feel that. So really working in the time that you have, and only doing that, has, like, honestly also changed my business and the relationships I've been able to build because of it. Pre-plan. So some tips, tracking. So I have really basic tracking. I don't use any systems. I'm pen and paper chick. I have many different yearly calendars I get from Michael's when it goes on sale, because I'm super frugal and cheap. Usually use a coupon too. So all I do is I have the different pages where I always make sure, let's see if I have a month, it's going to be really squirrely. You guys probably can't see, but like I use the days of the month. At the top, I write invite, next page is follow-up, next page is coach invites or whatever I really need to focus on usually goes first. So invite, follow-up, connect. I don't record my ads. Those are my pages. And then if I have a page right now for sample workouts, and that's all I do. And so that was something I wasn't doing in the first 2 years of my business. And that is why I think I didn't hit High Success Club numbers back then. That's why I found things harder, is because I didn't have a really good system to go back and follow. I always circle the people who I've like had a conversation with and like push it to the next level of like, okay, what do you really want to work on? Like, I always circle those people so I know to go back to them first. But that was ultimately one of the things that saved me so much time. Instead of like, I used to be super, when Facebook wasn't so crazy, I used to just go back and see who was online, and those were the only people I would talk to. I saw a few people shaking their head. Yeah, that's what you did too. But now that's like, that would be daunting. But now I can go back to this. I can say, okay, I'm going to follow up. All right, who did I invite this month? Who did I invite last month? And it takes no time to do it because they're already recorded. Pre-plan and schedule your posts. So this is twofold. So for your challenge group, for your clients, pre-schedule your posts. It doesn't matter. I mean, unless you really want people to see them and really have good viewage of it, then don't pre-schedule them. But time-wise, pre-schedule it the month before. So a lot of us do like a mompreneurs where they create the stuff for us. And then we just upload it all the month before. It's pre-scheduled, it's in there. The beauty of that too is you get to be a better coach. You get to show up in lives, you get to show up and be present and have more time to do that and not feel like, oh, but I need to get a post in there on something today. In regards to your like posts and stuff on your wall, on your feed, everybody's different. For me, I like to post on the fly, but I swear by Facebook memories. I know I've said this before, but it's like my notebook for like the movie Notebook. Like I'll one day have dementia and I can just go in there and everything will be reminded, whatever the word is. But Facebook memories, every morning I go in there, I look at the posts, and if something speaks to me and like really is functional for today and how I'm feeling, then I'll just pre-do that and change the photo. Otherwise, I copy and paste it in note section, which is my other point. Note sections are like a saving grace. I have a whole one for posts. That's where a lot of my memories are. That's how, if I have like a PD takeaway, I type something in there. I do voice to text. If you're super awkward or find that you're taking forever to do a post and you just can't get it out and you're better at speaking, speak it. Do a voice to text. Obviously read it after, because you know voice to text will make it look like gibberish. So make sure you know what you're talking about in the real time. But do that. Same thing with your, like, if you feel like your invites are coming off cold or like not across properly, again, voice to text, like be a human, and stop overthinking your posts. That comes from like Karina's call last week, like stop overthinking things. No one cares that much. You care way more than anybody else cares. They want value, they want content, and they want to be inspired. That's what they want. And they want to know that you're consistently showing up and a little bit about you. Okay. This is another tip that really helps my life, is before bed, write down 3 things that you really want to accomplish the next day. Most of us have 8,000 things on our list to do every single day. Some of us write down like, I need to poop, because you just want to tick something off that's easy. If you're doing gut protocol or having enough Shaco, like that's a good one to tick off. But if you're feeling overwhelmed, like you're not getting anything accomplished, that, you know, I just have so many things to do, I don't have any time for my business, write down 3 things that you want to accomplish the next day. Mainly the important things that you really need to do that you keep pushing off, like checking your mail, Julie, and, you know, paying the water bill, like whatever that may be. Write down your 3 important things, because what happens is action breeds more action. I think Tony Robbins said that. And what happens is you will do those 3 things and then you'll be able to do more. So whether that be 3 things in your life or 3 things in your business, or, you know, a combination, 3 things you need to accomplish the next day before you write them out before you go to bed. So the next morning you wake up with intention. Hugely life-changing. Okay. Incorporate, I kind of already said this, but incorporate your partner and your kids in your kind of priority statement, in your goals. So they know, like, why is mommy showing up? Mommy's showing up so she can have the forever home, so we can have that land to play on, so we can have space for the kids to not be on top of each other. Like, that is why mommy's showing up in her business. And that is, and they know the other whys of like to help like change lives and all those things. But, you know, find those little goals that they can celebrate the wins too. So if mommy helps 3 people this month, we're going to go out for ice cream. So then they cheer you on and they get excited too, versus mom's always on her phone and she's taking away from us, right? Again, if you implement these things, that they're not going to say that as often, but it allows them to feel kind of connected to it. The same with your having like that connection with your partner. Most of us have partners on here. Most of them want to know the income side of it. Most of them have no idea what you're doing. But in order for your relationship to be good, which ultimately means your business will be good, because if anything's lacking, your business is going to have a little bit of suck in it. Having that communication with them kind of gets them a little lit up. Like the other day I was like, honey, I just signed up like 3 people in 3 days. I like totally thought about it every morning. I was like, today I am so excited to serve. It was super ghetto. Well, not ghetto, but I was like, I'm so excited to serve. I'm excited to wake up and like help someone today. And this is not like my normal speakage. And he was like, okay. And I'm like, no, but like every morning I woke up and I had a message in my inbox that like, they wanted to sign up. And 2 of them were just like me checking in with people who some of them I hadn't even realized had canceled. One of them I realized had canceled because life, like they told me, because life was just crazy in income. Another one, she had canceled because again, like things were diverting off and she's like, I need back into it. I need some of the hub. I need this. Like, and the messages came from like a message I sent a week ago. I hadn't followed up. There was no answer. It was ghosting, but I didn't pay attention because I just keep doing the things. And you get the first day of the month, second day of the month, and third day of the month, those messages came in. A lot of that comes from all those things. But then I got to share that with my husband and he had the joy from it. And well, I guess he kind of understood why I was crazy excited. But he gets to feel that energy too, that sometimes we forget to put out to them as well. Okay, full-time and part-time working people, and even moms, sometimes we just have days that drain us, days where we have no time to breathe, pee, poop, any of those things. I talk about poop a lot if you don't know me. And just days where it doesn't feel like you can pour into this, just do the maintenance. I know your coach may tell you something differently, but maintenance, for me, my team knows that word. Maintenance means invite, follow up, connect. So for me, I always send out my invites from my posts, my post that day and my stories. It will take you less than 8 minutes. If you have your little thing that you normally say, thank you so much for popping in stories. I uber appreciate it. How was your day today? What's one thing you really liked? And I don't know if you saw, but I'm about to start a new challenge. Can I send you the sample workout and get your feedback? Like something super organic, like just whatever that may be, or just strictly invite them to a challenge. But just that is a non-negotiable for me. And it takes me less than 8 minutes. I can do that while I'm brushing my teeth. I can do that while I'm having a poop, right? You can do that during the day. So my follow-ups, again, that's a quick thing. Just check back on your list. That can take you less than 8 minutes. Again, connection, that's one that kind of goes if I don't have time, but those 2 things, invites and follow-ups, that's a non-negotiable. If you want something for this business, it'll take you less than 8 minutes. You can do those things every single day, regardless of how crazy your life was. And don't feel bad about it. This is the thing about it, is that sometimes we put that pressure on us, especially if we're, regardless of where we are in our stages in our business, we put that pressure on us that maintenance is okay. Fueling yourself back up is okay. By doing that, just like being a mom, if we don't take that hot second to like go and breathe on our own, we're not sometimes showing up as our best self. So remember, the same thing happens for your business. This is your baby. Like, our business is our baby. And remember that. And remember that we need to fuel ourselves too. So maintenance days are okay. And last but not least, it's not how much time you have, it's what you do with that time. So that being said, I didn't read any of the chat box, so I didn't squirrel, and I haven't seen a red bar on my baby monitor, so we're all good. Julie, questions, were there any? Or
No
if you have some, put them in there now.
No, there weren't any questions. People adding on to what you said or giving different suggestions or saying that you're a rock star, which we know you are, but no questions.
Okay. If anybody has them now, feel free to unmute. I love questions. I love Q&A, so don't leave me hanging. Anything? Anybody? Last time I ran this call, people wanted to know how I organized my day. Does anybody, can you get jazz hands if anybody wants that? If not, okay, jazz hands. Okay.
And then Kat has a question, Lauren.
Okay. Okay, I'll do this quick first then. So for me, I'll do my two. So when I was full-time shift working, I got up and I did quick PD. So I take a picture of my personal development and my like daily, what do I call it? A daily reflection book, and put that up on my stories. It takes 5 seconds. It's a really good opener to people wanting to connect with you on a non-coach superhuman level. So that's just something that they see every single day. So I do that. Then I go and I do Nurse Life. If I'm there early and I have time, I check my important messages in a blast. And then at one of my breaks, I will try to do some invites and follow-ups. And then when I come home, I do my workout and then I answer messages. My shift working days are my like maintenance days for the most part. If you know it's a great day and I have a blast of energy, then I'll do a power hour when I get home. And perfect, I see a question, Leanne, I'll answer it after. Now I'm home with the 3 kids. I homeschool while my baby naps. So I homeschool the other 2, which sometimes is soul sucking, but and it really takes away the time that I did have when they were in school. So in school, usually I'll wake up, I'll do my mantra stuff, I'll do my journaling, post my daily affirmation book thing. And then I do a power pocket in the morning. So actually I do a power hour almost in bed in the morning. I check all my messages first, and then I invite and follow up from stories. I do a post usually taken from my memories. And I've already checked in with my challenge group, so I don't go back in there until the next, like that night. And then I'm up and I'm with the kids and the phone goes away. I film. This was one of the things I forgot to say. Don't feel like you need your stories to be up to date every second. No one cares. So this is one of the biggest things that changed in my business is I take photos, I take my videos, and then my phone goes away, which means I'm not like fuddling, trying to find my music. And like that takes some time sometimes, especially if we're squirrels and we are like, want to just set it up right. I do that in a power pocket. My stories are in a power pocket when I'm hiding from my kids having a poo. Just kidding. When I have that time. So usually I can do it a little bit before lunch. The kids are kind of like chilling, doing their own thing. And that's when I do my morning really batch. So my workout, my whatever's happened in the morning, that's when it gets posted. It will change literally your life if you're not doing that right now. So take the photos, of course, which is also great because then you have more content that you can use, but also it allows you to then put it up there when you have time and not take away from being present with your family. So then when they're homeschooling, I take my power pockets. So if they have a subject that's good, then I take a power pocket then and do my invites and follow-ups. And then if I have any other time in the afternoon while they're behaving on their own, I do another power pocket, and then nighttime is my focus power hour. So that's how I do it now. Okay, Tash, you had a question.
No, Kat has a question,
Kat.
and then I'm going to read some for you.
Okay, Kat, go.
How do you get your new coaches to hit the ground running?
Off topic-ish. Mentorship. So when Ali and them and Lindsay aren't doing it, I have a bunch in mentorship this time. I had been running my own mentorship in a message pod, super simple. Like, again, just like Ali and Lindsay, like it's super, super simple. It's like make your list of 15. I don't do 45 or 100, which I used to do and no one was successful. Big shock because it's too overwhelming. And I pour into personal development. So every day they have a personal development thing that they listen to, and it's super quick. It's usually like Brendan Bouchard because he's super quick, but super good. And they just have little tasks, like nothing crazy. And I do it pretty much over 5 to 7 days. And then they have like days where they just catch up. Again, I'm so far really successful at helping them hit like emeralds right after mentorship for anybody who really actually wants this. But again, it's the other part, which is different. And you have to remember, like, if they're not being successful, maybe they're just not ready for it, or maybe the conversation hasn't happened of knowing that one on like that getting started right. Like, why do they want this? Same thing as a challenger. So like, if you don't know why they're here, again, you can't guide them the same way. So I have actually 3 or 4 people in mentorship right now. And one of them, I haven't done her one-on-one call. It's this week. But like, I don't 100% know why she wants this. So I can't 100% guide her or push her either, because I don't know those things. So that's what I find is super helpful, is knowing it, then following up, then being like, you know, if it's income, and be like, did you check your paycheck? You know, like those exciting things. But if it's there to help someone, be like, okay, who did you talk to today? What was the conversation like? How did that make you feel? Like, again, you could hit them differently and according to that. Okay, I think that's good.
Okay, Adriana wants to know, in your 8 minutes, do you just follow up with as many people as you can?
Yeah, so if your 8-minute power pocket is follow-ups, that's all you're doing. And again, you're going from your list. So you would go from anybody you invited. And so if you went from everybody you invited, which if you're doing this daily, you have people to go to, then you're just going to go to your invites for that month. And then when you've done that, then you go to your invites for the month before. And sometimes that means following up as a human. For me, my follow-ups aren't always like, hey, did you sign up yet? Do you want this yet? Like, you gotta in between connect as a human as well. Especially me, like, I need to feel like, I mean, it took me 18 months to say yes to this journey, because I needed to feel like I wasn't just a number. And I needed to feel like Lindsay was not going to fail. So I needed to see her show up consistently. And I needed to feel like I was her friend. That was important to me. And that's important to my tribe. I think most people are like that. So following up like a human, creating that connection, follow up. I mean, I don't record follow-ups right now. I think I sent out 210 samples for Lift More last month. I then made what's it called? Saved group. Yeah, saved. It's called collection. I made a collection because most of them came from Facebook. That's where I mainly still run my business. So I made a collection with them. So now all I have to do, this was my job last night in my Power Pocket. It took me a few Power Pockets, but I just went in and I went to my Lift More collection, and I just literally showed love on all the people who I had sent sample workouts to on their wall. And then, you know, later this week, I'll probably check in and see how their week was and ask them what their favorite moment was, like connect as a human, and then go back to that invite and stuff. Cool. Anything else?
Awesome. Leanne wants to know, she said, I struggle with chatting with people on social as I rarely get new people, either coaches, sketchy men, or people I already have on my team. Suggestion.
Okay, same here. Switch it up. So right now, my stories, I think I have 2 new people who watched them in the last 2 weeks. So my invites and follow-ups take no time in that 8-minute Power Pocket because no one's new. Some of those people, I obviously will like show up and like be kind to them and see how they're doing and check in because they're being so awesome to like watch me every day and be a stalker, and I love it. But if you're getting no new people, you're not connecting. So that's when I always realize, okay, I'm not connecting, which means I have nobody who actually wants to see who the hell I am, why I clicked on them to be their friend, or, you know, they don't want, like, they just forget I'm there. Because again, social media isn't necessarily showing your post. Yeah, you may show up once to twice a day, but that doesn't mean everybody sees you once to twice a day. The bread and butter of this business is done in the private connections behind. If you're not having those connections in your messenger or in your inbox, your business isn't going to move forward as easily. Don't think someone like those beautiful messages that came to me on the first 3 days of the month, that was because I did check in with them as humans. And I continued to check in with those people in the 3 years that they weren't with me. I was a human with them too. So if you keep getting, which I mean, it still happens, and Facebook and Instagram, they have those moments where you're just gonna not have anybody new. You still have to show up. It doesn't mean no one cares. It doesn't mean your business is done. Like, get out of your mind, pour into into your mindset and connect with humans again.
Lauren, can I say something?
Yes, sexy voice.
Sorry, I know. I was just typing, like, you go find your people.
Yeah.
And what I think you've done a really good job at that you haven't mentioned, Lauren is like huge into the outdoors and hiking. So she has an online community that has nothing to do with Beachbody, of bringing people together to go for hikes.
Yeah.
Like, you get to go find your people with what you're interested in. And social media is so cool. I don't know if you want to share anything about that group, but
Sure.
you started that not with coach, like that's
No.
just because it's something you like.
Yeah, like, so my avatar, part of my avatar is hiking. Like, the forest is what saved me from postpartum depression when I had my second. And so I was in there all the time, and it was just something that's become such a huge part of my family that I'm like, well, duh, that's part of my life. Like, I'm there almost every day when it's not Mosquitoville. And so people kept seeing that, and people kept messaging me like, oh, I wish I knew someone else to go with, because I always wanted to, like, I want to go out to nature more. And I just kept getting those messages, or like, what forests do you like? I'm like, oh, I should create a group. And I had an ongoing wellness group that did nothing. But this, I was able to grow organically, no invites, especially over the last, I'd say even 2 months, to 2,000 people in it. And I don't even show up there anymore, right? Like, I do, but I have so many women in the group now that are like, they're creating hikes. I've been able to create leaders out of it that like will probably never join me, but they're serving something that's another part of my message in this world, which I think I was talking to Jay, or talking to Jay Shetty. Yeah, I was talking to Jay Shetty today. I was listening to Jay Shetty today. And he said, like, the beautiful thing about social media is it's our platform to share something that we're so passionate about. And it doesn't mean that it has to be just movement and mindset and Beachbody. Like, that's our vessel, that's our tool. But for me, like, hiking is so, like, getting in nature and grounded, like, it saved my humans too. Like, my son, when he is just bouncing off the wall, and the kids when they're assholes, like, it happens. Go to nature and everybody's happy again. They want to kick me and scream the whole time, but once they're there, they're like, that was my favorite moment of the day. So creating this group has allowed me to, on a different level, not only feel fantastic because I'm helping these people and finding they're now connecting as communities, and the creating a group of women who like go hiking, and they've done like overnight camping trips and like these awesome things. But again, I had, like, when I hurt my foot, I messaged these ladies and I was like, okay, guys, I just hurt my foot. And I don't know if you know, but I'm actually Lauren and the leader of this group. And I can't run any hikes this season. Is anybody willing to step up and like run some hikes? Like, if you go somewhere, like, whatever. And I had like 5 women be like, yeah, I can totally do it. I usually hit up this trail. So again, like, I'm creating leaders of leaders that aren't necessarily in this business. Maybe they'll join me. I've had a few from the group. And it's also a great way to not only grow my network, because they might see my stuff, because it's also a great way when I have to add them in to, if I like them and they're my people, I'll add them as a friend. But it serves my heart and my joy. And that's what this is about too. One thing that Rosa told me, so she's like your up there coach. Rosa told me once years ago, she's like, don't ever forget the forest, because she knew how important that was to me. She's like, don't ever forget that, because there's going to come a time in your business when you are so narrow focused on your goal and you forget everything else you have to do, and everything else that brings you joy. And when that happens, your business is actually going to be so much harder. So if you have something that brings you joy, if it's running, if it's ball, if it's like any of those things, don't ever forget it. And if life feels hard, like, get that on the power pocket and make sure that's happening. Which is what, like, I mean, some of the girls know we're going swimming. I don't know what someone wrote, but everybody's laughing. Elf on the Shelf does not bring me joy. I hate that little fucker. But I digress. I don't know what I was saying. Anybody else other than the Elf on the Shelf? I'm sure that was Lindsay who wrote that. I don't even know. Yeah. All right. Julie, anybody else? Anything else?
That's it for questions, unless anyone wants to throw in any last minute ones. It is 10 to 10, so we've kept you a little longer than we intended to.
I'm getting my Virgin Ripper, guys. I have one episode I can watch tonight. All right, guys, thank you. So I love that everybody's writing about Virgin River. Thank you so much, guys. Honestly, any feedback, anything that you loved, they have asked me, I'll actually, oh no, I can't stop recording. Ali, if I stop recording, it cancels the whole call. Last time I did that, it logs everybody off. Is that a thing?
You should be able to just hit stop record.
I
Just
did
don't
that.
click leave.
I did that last time and it stopped the whole thing. So I'll just say it quickly.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
go for it.
I am, Karina asked me, so Beachbody coach development for diamonds to 3 stars. She asked me to be on the call next week for Beachbody Canada. So I will be talking on this call. So if you guys have anything that really spoke to you, any nuggets, any of those things, it's a 30-minute call and I don't actually know exactly what I'm doing. But if you had anything that really spoke to you, I'd love for you to either comment in the event that this was, or private message me so that I can really like bring the best value, if you found any value, I hope you did, to that call, because it's a big kind of manifestation from the last few years. So it's going to be
That's huge.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I'm so excited for you.
Thanks.
Yay.
Thanks. So
Let us know for sure when you know the times and
I
stuff.
do. Oh, it's upstairs. It's on Thursday next week, and I think it's at 7 o'clock. So it's bedtime, which for most of you. So 7 Eastern Standard Time. But I'll post it in the group. But yeah, I'd love all the cheer squad. Please show up, because it's probably my most shit your pants moment. But we don't grow unless we're outside our comfort zones, shitting our pants, right? Right. On that note, I'm gonna cancel and the call.
Of course, you had to end on poop since you're our poop girl.
Ta-da!
Ta-da. Oh, wait, Nicole's saying she has a question. I think that's what you're saying.
No,
Is that what
she's
you're
saying
Oh, no,
goodbye.
she's not.
She's
I
saying
thought that
goodbye.
was a
She's Tom Cruise. She's saying
All right.
goodbye. All right.
Okay. Good job,
Bye,
Lauren.
guys.